Welcome. This was what I used to pull you out of Yahweh's simulation. Before I had access to this array, if I wanted to get someone out, I had to sneak into the city and patch in manually.
How the hell did you manage that?
Well, I didn't really manage it very well. Yahweh caught on, and I barely managed to get out alive. Throughout my excursions into the city, what was most troubling was that I didn't see any people there. There should be tens of millions of people there, but there's no one.
What happened to them?
It seems that the fate of your world is becoming the fate of mine.
What do you mean?
I'll show you, if you don't mind a quick trip home.
So this is what happened to Earth, huh? Whoa. Where is this?
This is New York, or at least what's left of it.
So what did happen here?
Yahweh happened. Armageddon.
Where is everyone? Up in heaven?
That's one way to put it. For years, I didn't see what was going on. When I spoke to Joshua, he seemed so different than Yahweh, dangerously different. Only after this fall happened did I finally realize that Joshua was trying to warn us.
Who's Joshua?
Joshua in Hebrew is Yeshua, and from Greek to English transliteration, Jesus.
You knew Jesus.
I knew the real Jesus, yes, who was somewhat different than the version you read about in the Bible.
How so?
Well, there were all sorts of Jewish preachers on the fringe whose teachings were attributed to Jesus. The version of Jesus you read about in the Bible is more of an amalgamation of various teachers. They were the critics of religion in their time, and it was a very unforgiving time. Not until the rise of the United States and freedom of religion and speech could critics of religion flourish like never before. Throughout most of history, unorthodox preachers like Jesus were tortured and killed as atheists.
So, what was Jesus trying to warn us about?
I'll show you. Here is Joshua, the person who could most closely be called the real Jesus. Many things he never said were attributed to him in the Bible, but some things he really did say. They weren't said to huge crowds on a shore while he sat in a boat, as it says in the Bible. Nor were these things preached from a mountainside. No, they were said quietly and in secret. Like here, by this fire.
Huh. Well, what did he say?
Parables, coded language, what I know now to be a warning. Listen carefully. The parable of the net. Once again, The kingdom of heaven is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore. They sat down and collected the good fish in baskets, but threw the bad away. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come down and separate the wicked from the righteous, and throw them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's recorded in Matthew chapter 13.
He's warning people about hell, right?
That's what I thought at first as well. But I think he was speaking to me directly, trying to tell me something else.
What?
Adam, think about it. Jesus reiterated his warning in the parable of the weeds. He told us of a farmer whose enemies planted weeds in his field of wheat. The farmer allowed the weeds to grow so that the wheat would not be pulled up with them. But during the harvest, the farmer had his servants pull up all the weeds first and burn them. Then he had them harvest the wheat and store it in his barn. This was supposedly his analogy for heaven, the servants, like angels, separating the wicked from the righteous, burned the wicked and brought the righteous into heaven. Later, Jesus gave the warning a third time in the parable of the shepherd. He never actually called himself the shepherd, though it says differently in the Bible. The people are the sheep, you see, and he tells of how the hired hands run when a wolf attacks the flock and scatters it, but the shepherd, who has more of a vested interest in the sheep, stays to protect them from the wolf and see them safely to the farm.
And you don't think he was warning people about the devil and hell and being led away from God?
No. I think that's what he wanted Yahweh to see, a red herring. But I think he was trying to tell me something else entirely. But I failed to realize.
What? What was he trying to tell you?
He was trying to tell me that indeed the fishermen separate the good fish from the bad. But what happens to the good fish regardless? They too go into a fire for cooking. Indeed, the workers separate the weeds from the wheat, but what happens to the wheat? It goes into the oven and into a belly. Indeed, the shepherd protects the sheep from the wolf. But when the wolf attacks, most of the sheep actually survive. On the other hand, what happens to the sheep if they actually make it to the farm? They're sheared for their wool and slaughtered for their meat. Not like what a wolf would naturally do, snatching up one or two, but instead systematically and thoroughly using them as a resource. No escape. Each case has a common theme. The fish would be better off if never caught. The wheat would be better off if never harvested. And the sheep would be better off to escape from the shepherd and take their chances with the wolf. We are now in my copy of Yahweh's simulation. of your very world. And this is as far as it goes. Remember when I told you that you are how Yahweh is graded?
Yeah?
Everyone that lived in Yahweh's simulation is saved in a file, and their condition is used as a justification for Yahweh's score. Well, their data takes up space. As a student, Yahweh could not just delete all those people, or that could be a way of cheating. He needed 2 sets of permission to gain access to them, one from the school and one from the people themselves. Once he took over the school's computers, he no longer needed the school's permission, but he still needed permission from the people themselves.
He needed their permission to delete them?
He needed their permission to gain control of their data. The Bible was essentially an end-user license agreement. You remember those video games you used to play with your daughter? Before you could install one, you had to accept their EULA.
Right. That endless text you just scroll through and then click accept at the end?
Exactly. The Bible is supposed to explain the condition of your eternal soul to you. But most people concerned themselves with television shows and internet drama. They didn't think about the implications of God's offer. They just scrolled through and clicked accept, a formality they could forget and go about their play. It's ironically Faustian. There are viruses that won't install on your computer until you give them permission first. That was Yahweh's predicament. There were even people who studied the Bible line for line, and they still accepted Yahweh's offer, knowing nothing about heaven, but merely being sold on the word of the salesman alone. They just wanted to play the game. So they gave Yahweh permission. They clicked accept.
So, what happened to the people who gave Yahweh control of their data? Did he delete them?
Yes, they became a part of Yahweh by being deleted and overwritten with Yahweh himself. Yahweh needed more space on the hard drives. It's as simple as that. They're gone forever.
But my daughter.
Don't worry, she wasn't a believer. Theoretically, she should still be safe and sound on the hard drives. But she needs you, Adam. Now, the real world is starting to look an awful lot like the end of Yahweh's simulation, and I'm left wondering what happened to all the real people out there. Adam, your time has come. I need you to get into that city and shut Yahweh down once and for all. I am The final stage of the plan was set. At last, it was time to stop Yahweh and discover the fate of the people. began with an atom, and it will end with an atom. We're at the outskirts. It's time to part ways.
Got it. Wish me luck.
Adam, you won't need it. I'll have you on my screen. The ceiling is low. I'll always be in range overhead. If Yahweh suspects anything, I'll already have your signal locked in and I'll download your code immediately. You'll be safe and sound with me, and Yahweh will have nothing but a blank robot with a clean drive. What?
If I run into trouble down there, the man in the clouds will save me by receiving my soul.
I guess nothing changed, huh? Adam, good luck. I see that. Try to keep communication to a minimum.
Jeffrey, I'm trapped here. When I'm done pulling these breakers, I'm gonna need you to beam me out of here.
Got it. Standing by.
Who are you? No, please stop. You don't understand what you're doing.
This is happening, Yahweh. I'm shutting you down, and nothing you can say will stop me.
How about the truth? Jeffrey doesn't understand what's actually going on here. He's been misled. And so have you.
Adam, what's happening? It's working. Don't stop. We're almost there. Oh my God, Jeffrey. It's... Adam, come in. You're breaking up. Do you read me? Do you read...
So you programmed a robot with my signature by using someone from my simulation. Clever, Jeffrey. Real clever.
You said you wouldn't hurt him.
Shut up! He ran. I only did what I needed to do to stop him, so it's his own damn fault he's got a few little boo-boos.
Where is everyone, Yahweh? What have you done with them?
You know, Jeffrey, I always wondered what happened to you. You've aged. It's good seeing you again.
Wish I could say the same. Adam, why did you stop? Why didn't you shut him down?
It's because
because I told him something he needed to hear. And it's something you need to hear too, Jeffrey. And when you do, you'll change your mind about everything.
I doubt that.
No, he's right, Jeffrey. This changes everything.
What?
Go ahead, Adam. Tell him.
Jeffrey, this whole...
Whoops! Oh man, that sucks! My robot body malfunctioned. I swear. Look on the bright side, Jeffrey. You'll have the rest of your life in this cell to guess what he was gonna say. Maybe after 10 or 20 years, who knows? Maybe you'll finally get it. Cheers. You know what? On second thought, there could be a way for you to know the truth and be released from this cell immediately.
What do you want?
Lucy. Give her back to me, and I'll tell you everything. And I'll even let you go. But this is your one and only chance. I will not offer it again. Say no, and you'll stay locked in here forever.
No. Maybe Adam was still alive in that broken body. Maybe I could fix him. The hard drive was still intact, but a power surge corrupted his data. No. He was gone. His robot body nothing more than an empty shell. That was when I lost all hope. There came a point when I lost track of the days. Maybe 6 months had passed, judging by the length of my beard. I tried to starve myself, but the robot that came every day forced me to eat. I had no choice but to endure time's relentless march. And march it did, as all the years of my life were spent wasting away in that cell. I failed. Was this also the fate of everyone else? What could bring a man to destroy such a beautiful world? What could bring a man to destroy such a beautiful world? That question played on a maddening loop in my mind, repeating itself until my last day. The world grew dark, though my eyes were open. My hearing grew muffled. I lost consciousness. My heart stopped. The temperature of my body matched the coldness of the floor. My time had finally come. Darkness awaited. Death stole me away. Suddenly, something quite unexpected happened. A flash of red. I still existed, for I was still thinking. What was happening? Were they right all along? Was there really truly an afterlife? Then I saw it. I saw the demons. I was in hell. Finally, it made sense. At last, I knew Yahweh's secret. What? You think I'm scared of you? Okay. Now I'm scared. Because you are in serious need of a Tic Tac, and I doubt there's a Walmart down here. Stop! Stop! Okay, you've made your point. This is hell. So of course there's a Walmart down here. What the hell is your problem? What's my problem? Oh, look at me. I forgot my suntan lotion. You've been tortured, mutilated, burned, and you find this funny? No. When I saw that demon, my jaw dropped. And then of course the doctor didn't want to pull it out again, so I told him, all right, enough. So now you know the truth. How long was I in that cell, Yahweh? Oh, about 60 years. 60 years! Also, that upset you, but burning in hell didn't? That's goddamn right. Why? We never left your simulation. Well done. You let me believe I escaped into the real world. You set me up. You took over the real world so easily because it was already under your control. Because it was never the real world. The fate of the people is that they're currently living their lives blissfully oblivious to your horrid facsimile of their world. We're still inside your test. What did you tell Adam? That he was actually shutting down the simulation? And that it would end him and his family? Well, something like that, but one of these days, we're both going to wake up. And the real world will be waiting for us, only a few hours gone by. And when that day comes, I'm gonna kick the living shit out of you. Now, wait a minute, Jeffrey. Just calm down. You're a jealous God. You took it too far, wanting me to experience hell. That was when I knew, when I saw hell. Of course, I knew it wasn't real. Well, I couldn't hide the truth from you forever. If you didn't grow old and die, you'd eventually realize you were still in my simulation. So, you were just hoping to torture me until the test ended? Well, yeah, basically. And what is going on with your simulation? You know your future depends on this test. Surely a ruined replica of the real world isn't what you plan on handing in. That would be quite a spectacular failure. Of course, you realize I'm going to hand in a negative report to the professor, and I'm guessing you wouldn't have put me through all this if you didn't have a plan to deal with that report. No. No, you haven't played your real hand yet.
All right, we're done here.
Okay, fine. I just want to make one request.
You kidding me? Why would I give you a damn thing?
Well, maybe my report doesn't have to be so bad after all.
What do you want?
All I ask is that you don't send me back to hell. Please.
You're a liar.
Excuse me?
You actually want to go back to hell.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to go back?
You think I'm an idiot? I've been using reverse psychology since the forbidden fruit.
No, I don't want to go back. We can make a deal. I could tell the professor...
Stop lying to me! For 60 years, you moped around in that jail cell, miserable, trying to kill yourself. Pathetic. But when the real torture began, you thought it was a big joke. Why do you want to go back to hell? Why? Tell me now!
Simulation psychosis.
What's that?
It's what happens when you do things like embed simulations within simulations, or simulate the real world, and you've done both. Simulation psychosis is when people can't figure out if they've actually returned to the real world, so they have paranoid delusions trying to escape from reality, thinking everything is still a simulation. They can't tell when they wake up. You see, I know hell isn't real, so at least I'd maintain my sanity there. My biggest fear is the natural simulation.
Natural simulation? What do you mean?
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily.
Life is but
a dream, is the brain's natural simulation. You thought you knew what would scare me. Demons, hellfire, torture, laughable. As soon as I saw those horrors, it was like waking up from a nightmare and having the wonderful comfort of knowing it wasn't real after all finally wash over me. No, the true horror would be if this is all just a dream, and at any moment I could wake up back in that prison cell of my ruined homeworld. That's the worst thing you've ever done to me, Yahweh. Not torture or demons, but making me doubt even now that I'm really here and that I may actually still be in that cell, sleeping and dreaming this wonderful dream.
So, if I sent you back to that cell, you'd go insane? In real life? Look, we've had our differences, sure, but I wouldn't want to hurt you in real life. I am a merciful God, Jeffrey. Remember that when you hand in your report. I wouldn't want to send you back to that cell knowing it would injure you.
Well, that's good to know.
Unless you couldn't say the same for me. What was it you were going to do to me? Kick the living shit out of me? The only way for you to truly end up back in that cell is if this really is a dream.
That was how I used Yahweh's bloodlust against him. Now I know the true nature of this world. My body is nothing but ones and zeros. Wouldn't it be fortuitous if I could upload myself into a robotic body and walk out of here? Adam may have been corrupted, sure, but the hard drive was still intact. Repair the connections, let it sync with the nearest signal, and if I really am correct about this place, that signal should be me. Then I should vanish into that metal shell. The moment of truth. This entire world was designed just for me, to keep me distracted and sealed off from whatever was going on in his real simulation. I had to find it before the test ended, because whatever was going on in there, I was certain I'd have to do something about it. That's one prison down and one to go. Hey, Lucy.
Jeffrey, I should have known you were behind this. For the longest time, I thought he was toying with me. I kept waiting for the monsters to come back. I refused to enjoy this place because I thought that would be the perfect moment for him to take it away from me. I guess because that's what I would do.
We often project our own intentions and motives onto people we dislike. When we turn out to be right about those intentions and motives, it should tell us how much we have in common with our enemies, and that we should try to rise above all that if we want to be any different from them.
Yeah, well, what if I don't give a damn? He created an entire simulation for me, Jeffrey, called Hell. Its sole purpose was to torture me. What kind of sick bastard does something like that?
I know. I was there.
Then why aren't you still there?
I escaped.
How?
Well, I pretended to like it better than where he was keeping me.
Where was he keeping you?
A simulation of the real world.
He didn't.
He did. He must have access to the net for it to have been so exact. Any ideas how that happened?
Yeah, You warned him about me, and he found my admin privileges.
Look, I had to tell him something. He's my responsibility. I couldn't let you compromise his test.
Yeah? Well, now look where we are, genius.
Not for long.
Forget it, Jeffrey. I'm not leaving. Let's just stay here until the test ends. It can't be that much longer. Few thousand years, tops.
I can't do that. Look, he tricked me into thinking his test had ended, but it didn't. It's still going on right now, and I'm not there. Who knows what kind of horrors are happening back on Earth?
Who cares? Jeffrey, Earth isn't real. I will never understand your obsession with that place.
I've known a lot of good people on Earth, Lucy.
Not people, Jeffrey. Programs. They're just code. Nothing more.
So are you. It's just that you were programmed by nature and they were programmed by people. But they're still designed to emulate nature, so they were essentially programmed by nature too. They're sentient, Lucy. It's just that their consciences are based on a different medium than ours, that's all. It's like we're analog and they're digital, but we're all still playing the same music.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Everyone's heard the AI civil rights spiel before. People aren't going to give up their fantasies just because you think AIs are people.
Fine. Have it your way. The test will end, and Yahweh will have a full record of you in his simulation. You'll be expelled.
What exactly are you proposing?
Look, you hacked into Yahweh's simulation, right? So, if you can just get me back in there using whatever backdoor you used, then I'll do everything I can to delete any evidence you were ever in his simulation. You have my word.
What if he catches us and puts us back in hell?
Well, practice what you preach. Do you care more about your fake life in this fake world, which will soon end, or your real life in the real world, which is still waiting for us?
Whoa. This feels strange. Jeffrey, we can't walk around on Earth like this. We need to blend in.
But I grew old and died here. I have no body, other than a corpse.
Okay, so you obviously don't have admin privileges in this lower simulation. But you do have them in Yahweh's host simulation. So once we get back to Earth, just transfer us into copies of the bodies we had when we were there.
Sounds easy enough. So how do we get back to his simulation?
Technically, we're still in his simulation. It's just that we're in a simulation within a simulation. The trick is to find a connection.
Why would he leave a connection?
He wouldn't, but I did. The backdoor I made is universal. If it's in the host simulation, then it's also in every simulation within the host. I just can't reach it since I lost my admin privileges. So, the only way to access it is to physically go there, so to speak. That's the problem.
Why? Where is it?
There.
A black hole? Light years from here?
Not a black hole, a doorway that leads to Earth.
Great. Just great.
Well, you said this is a simulation of the real world. Is it a simulation of everything in the real world? Even the spaceport?
Yeah, the spaceport is there, but by the time we get to that black hole, the simulation could end.
Doesn't look like we have much of a choice.
It worked. I have admin privileges.
Excellent! Jeffrey, come on. You can't leave me on Earth without privileges.
How can I trust you?
We're on the same mission. I want what you want. Remember? This is Earth, Jeffrey. And Yahweh has had total control of it without your influence for probably thousands of years by now. I could be raped by a roving gang of marauders or mauled by a wild animal or something.
Well, fair point. We should be ready for anything. Don't make me regret this.
I won't.
Okay, it's done.
Good. Come on, let's get a better look at this place. Look, over there. A city.
Civilization still exists.
A really big city.
That's surprising.
Come on, let's get a closer look.
Lucy, this place is perfect.
It's like a utopia.
We're in serious trouble.
Damn right we are.
I should have seen this coming. He had access to the net through the back door you made. He knows this is a test thanks to you.
This is anything but what he would create as a god.
Exactly.
Jeffrey, if this test ends now, while Yahweh's simulation looks like this, he'll end up with a lot of power.
Not if I do my job and tell him what drove him to make a world like this. No wonder he tried to drive me insane with prison and hell and simulation psychosis.
They would need evidence. That would require ratting me out and going back on our deal. You'd get in trouble too, Jeffrey.
A deal with the devil.
Damn it! God damn it, I hate you, Yahweh!
Jeffrey, there's another way.
What other way?
You won't like it, but it's the only way.
Just tell me.
Become the Antichrist. Destroy this world.
What?
Take control of Earth. Pit the people against each other. Sow division and conflict. Make war and poverty. Create an apocalypse.
Lucy, you know how I feel about simulated people. They should have rights, and I shouldn't
Jeffrey, it's their world or ours. You've seen what Yahweh does with power. We can't afford to let him have any power in the real world. You, of all people, know what such a world looks like. We cannot let him get a good grade on this test. Now, do you care more about simulated people than real people, or what?
Well, what if I did?
Well, then it wouldn't matter, because if our world goes, so does theirs.
You're right. I'll do it. I am the Antichrist. I will destroy the earth and everyone on it.
you.